we are now homeless. Well, not really, but sort of. In today's video, we are packing up our whole life down here in Victoria and driving 20 hours back home. But the problem is we have 3 cars and one of them is the GQ Patrol, which has not been registered since 2015. So the goal of this video is to get the GQ back on the road and ready for its 20-hour journey all the way up to Coffs Harbour, which is bound to go wrong at some point. So let's get stuck into it.
And action.
Welcome back to TRPN. If you're new here, my name is Blake. And this is Shanoa, and today we're going to be letting you know exactly why we are currently homeless. Well, kind of, eh?
Kind of.
Kind of.
Not really.
We have just packed up our whole life in Melbourne. We've been in Melbourne for the last 12 months, working our absolute asses off, but we weren't really getting anywhere with the cost of living down there. It was just a pain in the ass. We couldn't save money, and we decided to both quit our jobs and move back up 20 hours to Coffs Harbour, where we are originally from. But the problem is we didn't have anywhere to move to, so we are back in with the parentals. But that's all right. Hopefully we'll be able to get our own place in the future. And yeah, basically today we're going to be running through exactly
what took place over the last couple months while we were in Melbourne.
So yeah, after we quit our jobs, we only had a few weeks left to pack up our whole house and finish the GQ and get it back on the road. We had 3 cars to get back to New South Wales and all of our gear. The goal was to hire a trailer, put all of our shit into a trailer, tow that with the GU, which meant I had nothing to tow the GQ. So now I had this GQ, which I've been building for the last forever, which has taken way too long. But reason being is because we were working so hard and I never had time. That's enough excuses. I have 2 or 3 or 4 weeks. How long was it? About 4 weeks to get this car capable to drive on the road. I had no wiring in it. There was so much stuff left to do. So we're gonna go back to before I even had any wiring in the car, and we're gonna be fitting up the wiring harness and trying to get this GQ on the road, because this GQ has not been registered since 2015. So what's that? 14 years old. Well, not 14 years old.
Never been driven.
But it hasn't been driven in 14 years on the road. It's been sitting in a paddock, wasting away, and yeah. So the goal of today's video is basically to get this GQ on the road, pack up our whole house and make a 20-hour drive with the GQ that hasn't been driven on the road in 15 years back to Coffs Harbour. So let's go back a few weeks and get this wiring into the GQ. All right, it's currently night time. I got this bag in the mail. This is a very important piece to this puzzle. Now, I absolutely hate doing wiring. 1, I'm not very good at it. 2, it's tedious and I hate it. Look at that. So there's a company on the Gold Coast called GC Patrols, Gold Coast Patrols, and they actually do plug and play wiring harnesses for patrol conversions. They specialise in TD42 conversions on all kinds of patrols. So all I had to do was send my RD28 harness off this cab, and then I sent the TD harness, and they send me back this like a week later. So this is a full plug and play harness. It'll connect the tacho, it'll connect all the sensors and everything to the GQ, or from the GQ to the engine. So once we get this ran and all plugged in, basically it means that we should be able to turn the key, start the engine, and everything will work. Now, it's currently late at night. I'm trying to use every spare moment that I have to work on this car to get it done. So I am going to start whacking in this wiring harness. I'm probably going to not get much filming done, but that's all right. We'll see ya when this harness is all run into the car. All right, so I got all the wiring into the GQ, and I was that keen to get it started up. But when I fired it up, it did not really go to plan. Alrighty boys, this is the moment. We've got some fuel in it. We've got it all primed up. We've got coolant in it. We've got oil in it, most importantly. Turbo's primed up. It is time to start this thing now. If you've seen my previous videos, you see it. We have had this engine running, but it was a bit of a shit show. This time we've got fluids in it. We've got everything ready to go. All the wiring done, so it should just start, hopefully. So this is it. This is the moment of the truth. Let's get this key into this car and see if she fires up. All right, we've got lights on the dash. That's good. Glow plugs sound like they're working. We're in neutral. Here goes. Oh, she's alive. It's making a bit of a noise. What is that sound? Far out, what is that? It's making an awful sound. I don't know where that's coming from. Oh, did not sound good. I don't remember it sounding like that last time I started it. It sounded like it was coming from the gearbox, sort of the clutch area. That is not ideal. I do not want to pull this gearbox out again. I'd put the gearbox in my garage here. I don't have a hoist or anything, so getting the gearbox out is an absolute pain in the ass. Far out. I was trying to think what could it be. I thought it was the throwout bearing on the clutch, but I was putting the clutch in and out and I wasn't really changing the sound of it. Usually, if it's a throwout bearing, it'll make a noise or change noises when you put the clutch in and out. Oh, that's annoying. Far out. I hope I don't have to pull this gearbox out. That would suck. Let me just check one more time. It's not there. Hear that little bit at the end there? Sort of sounds like the starter motor. I wonder if the starter motor's staying engaged and spinning. So it's sort of what it sounds like. Yeah, when I shut it off then there, you could hear the starter motor sort of clunking. That would be ideal if it was just the starter motor. Oh, all right, it was an absolute punish, but we got the starter motor out. Jesus. All right, this is a situation we're in. We've got a hell of a noise coming from the flywheel clutch area of the GQ, as you would have seen. I don't think it's the starter motor. I don't think it's anything that we can check without pulling the gearbox out. I was thinking about going and hiring a hoist. Like there's places you can go and hire a hoist, throw it up on the hoist and pull the gearbox out. But I thought, you know what, by the time we get a trailer and stuff around and drive probably now to one of those things, fuck it, let's just pull this thing out in my double garage here. So I'm going to show you how to pull a gearbox out of a car in your garage at home. Now, if you're not aware, the gearboxes in GQs are absolutely monstrous. They're freaking truck gearboxes. They're massive, they're heavy. So we are going to need this thing right here. Oh, I'm so relieved right now. It was a false alarm. Now, this is a reminder to never put a bolt halfway in without tightening it up all the way, because that is exactly what I've done. I was about to rip the gearbox out of this thing, which would have been an absolute pain in the ass. Would have taken me like 2 days stuffing around trying to pull it out underneath this car. And I was just having a look around the top, and I went to undo the top bell housing bolts, put the spanner on, completely loose. Now the top bell housing bolts on these TD42s are an absolute pain in the ass to get to. Usually you get like a real long extension and a uni and try and get up in there. But I remember, well I didn't remember, but I remember now when I put those bolts in, I was like, you know what, they're an absolute pain in the ass to get to. I'm gonna go get a real long extension and some good unis and stuff so I can get to them bolts. And I just completely forgot about it. I never did it. I actually wrote it down in my notes. I got a list of notes of things that I've got to check over before we drive this down the road, but completely forgot about it. And then, yeah, I was having a look and I can see the top of the gearbox was actually apart from the motor at the top. So the gearbox and the motor were not completely flat together, which means the drive line is going to have a bit of an angle, and it means that the clutch isn't going to be directly straight. And it was probably scraping on the fingers of the clutch, or I don't know, there was something in there scraping due to the motor and the gearbox not being directly aligned. So thank God, tighten that bolt up now. And now it's the next day, so this thing's cold. So it's going to be a bit of a cold start, but we'll see how well she starts on a cold start. Ooh, not too bad. Mate, she's running like an absolute dream. Best of all, it's not making that absolutely disgusting scraping sound anymore, so she's smick. There you go, turns out I'm just an absolute idiot and I didn't do up the 2 top gearbox bolts, and that's why it was making a hell of a noise. So once I got them done up, It was sounding good and it was running like a dream, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was running good.
But it was not ready for a 20-hour drive yet, and that is because we still did not have our intercooler hooked up. So now it was time to do some intercooler piping. So now it was time to get some intercooler piping in it. So now it was time to hook up some. So now it was time to hook up. So now it's time to hook up the intercooler piping. We've got no intercooler piping. We have mounted up our front mount intercooler down here. So we're gonna have to pull off the grill, pull off the bull bar. We're gonna have to drill some holes through here and through here for our intercooler piping. I will be getting fabricator to fully weld up some proper stainless intercooler piping, but for today, so we can get it on the road, I've got this intercooler piping kit. All the pipes are way too big, so we're gonna have to chop them up. We've got a heap of silicone hoses and hose clamps. So the plan is just to cut up some piping, use the silicone hoses and just jerry rig up some intercooler piping so we can get it driving on the road, and then eventually we'll take it to a fabricator and get them to whip up some proper stainless piping so it looks nice and smick and our hoses aren't going to pop off under boost. So let's pull the front end of this thing off. We'll get some bloody intercooler piping going, and then we'll be driving this thing down the road for the first time in almost 17 years. So let's go. Righty, update. Now I haven't been filming a whole lot because I need to get this thing done. This is where we're at. We've got this whole side hooked up. We've got the 3" to 2.5" reducer into a 90-degree bend. We've put some pinch weld on here to stop it cutting through. It is still touching on here. When we get the piping made up properly, we're gonna have to make this bend pretty sharp because there's not much room to work with. Comes up here, just into another silicone joiner, into a 90-degree. Now we do have 3" outlet here, 3" outlets here, but we're only running 2.5" piping. There is not much room. You can get a smaller belt for your power steering, and that will bring your power steering pump across here and open up more room here. But 2.5" piping is plenty enough for our application. You know, we're going for about that at 180, 200 horsepower, which is plenty enough for a 4-wheel drive. If you're chasing a 400 horsepower, which these motors probably can't handle, you're going to want to run 3" piping and whatnot, but 2.5" is going to be plenty for our application. Now that side's all hooked up. It is time to move on to this side. We've got a whole heap more room on this side. We've got to keep in mind that we will have piping that goes around here. We won't have to worry about that today because we can just throw a 3" pod filter on here until we get to the fabrication shop. So let's get stuck in and get this side done. Alrighty, here we have it. The makeshift intercooler piping is all plumbed up. So we've got the 2" to 2.5", comes down here, through here, into the 3" intercooler outlet, through the intercooler, out of here, 3" back down to 2.5", up here, into our intake. So that is all plumbed up. It's not ideal, but it's gonna work just fine until we can get it into a fabrication shop. Now, there we go, intercooler's all hooked up, fluids are all in, this car is ready to drive, and we ended up taking it for its first drive, and it was running like an absolute dream. But the only other problem is, before we make our 20-hour drive, we need some gauges, we need to monitor what's going on. So it was time to install some gauges. Now this right here is a Just Race Parts 14-in-1 gauge. Now I've been running one of these in my GU Patrol for years now, absolutely love it. It has pretty much unlimited inputs, and it monitors everything on your car in one little display on your dash, so you don't have to have 15 different gauges everywhere. You can monitor everything on the one display. You can also hook up multiple displays if that's what you're into, but yeah, we definitely cannot take this GQ on a 17-hour journey without monitoring the kettle. So we're gonna wanna hook up the water temperature, boost, pressure, EGTs, and that'll do it for now. In the future, we're gonna hook up oil temps, oil pressure, we can hook up whatever you want, but we're just gonna stick to those 3: water temp, boost, pressure, and EGT. So let's get stuck right into it. All right, so that's our water temp sensor. We're just gonna roughly run this cable around here, and we're gonna be going through the firewall right here. I've already found me a little hole down there. I've got a little rubber grommet, so we'll punch a hole in the rubber grommet, we'll run all our cables. But first off, we're gonna run all our cables to this, and then we'll put them all through the firewall at the same time. So let's move on to the EGT gauge. Now this is our EGT cable, it's all stainless steel. Oh shit, we can't be losing that piece. Alright, we'll just run that up along there, along the firewall, along the vacuum lines. And that's that one now for the boost. Alright, we've got our boost sensor. Now it does come with a brass tee and a hose, so you can tee it into any of your boost lines. I've got a brass fitting straight coming out of my intake, so we won't be needing the tee. I'm just going to run this boost line straight to our intake, and it's as easy as that. Alrighty, so I've just plugged everything in down here into our unit before we tidy it all up, just to make sure everything's working. So let's switch this on. Boom, there she is, JRP. Looks like we are working. Water temp 31, boost 1.7, EGT 52 degrees. Looks like our 3 sensors are working, voltage is working, so we can tidy up all of this and we are ready to go for a drive down the road. A little bit nervous, but let's do it. And there you go, all the gauges are installed. So now we can monitor things like the water temp, EGTs, boost pressure, to make sure we can monitor everything on our 20-hour drive back to Coffs Harbour. Now, meanwhile of me doing all this work on the GQ, Shanoa is busy in the background packing up the whole house right now.
Yep, it was not fun. Let me try and get this into this bag.
What are we doing?
Can you help me?
What are we doing?
We're moving.
Where are we going?
Back home. I look ugly, actually.
Huh? What did you say?
I said I look ugly, don't feel me.
That's going in the video.
What are we doing, home videos now?
Yeah. Australia's funniest home videos. Hey! Cut! It was not fun. We ended up having quite a bit more stuff than we anticipated. We did try and sell a lot of things down in Melbourne and try and bring back the least amount of stuff as possible. Mainly because, like we said at the start, we're homeless, so we don't have anywhere to put anything. We've now filled up Dad's shed, which is not ideal, but that's just how it goes. We ended up having way more stuff than we needed. The GQ was loaded up, the GU was loaded up, the trailer was loaded up that we just bought for $1,000 off an absolute legend. And yeah, it was time to start the 20-hour journey back to Coffs Harbour. No number plates on the GQ, no number plates on the GU trailer.
No aircon in either cars. No
aircon in either cars, which was all right in Melbourne, but once we got further up the coast, it started warming up a bit. But anyway, I was absolutely shitting myself for this. Like I said 1,000 times, the GQ has not been on the road in 15 years, so anything can go wrong. And when you're dealing with me, something always goes wrong.
Facts.
Facts. All right, this is the situation. It's currently 7 p.m. on Tuesday night. We're going to be leaving, I think, at 2 a.m. on Thursday. So we basically got tomorrow and that's it. And it's an absolute shit show. Got shit everywhere. I currently got the TIG weld MIG out, welding up some kind of exhaust. I've just sprayed my welds there because it currently comes straight out of the dump pipe. So I'm going to throw at least this on. Any coppers watching, it did have a full complete exhaust system. But anyway, almost got the GQ done. I've got to clean all this shit up. Still got to clean inside, clean up all my oil stains. We've got a bit on, but we're getting there. So we'll see you tomorrow. All done. All right, last couple of days have been absolutely hectic. We have way more shit than we thought we had. We sold heaps of shit. We're not even going to have that much stuff to bring home. Next minute, we've got a fully loaded up trailer, fully loaded up canopy, fully loaded up GQ. But we're finally done. I was hoping to leave at like 3-4 o'clock this morning. It is currently about midday. So yeah, we've got a bit of a trek ahead of us. We're about to jump in. I'm going to jump in the GQ, Shanoa's going to jump in the GU, and hopefully we can make this trip home without anything going wrong. But knowing my luck, there's always something. So we're going to jump in the GQ, jump in the GU, get on the road, and we'll see is probably when something f***s up. If not, probably when we get home. And we'll sit down and we'll let you know what's going on. That's it. Where are we going?
Home.
Let's go.
Home. Please.
Let's go, dude.
No, don't.
Here we go. All right, we're about halfway to Sydney. Cars are running mint. How's the GU going?
Good.
Good?
Happy.
Happy. Cars are running mint. We just pulled over here. Had to get the sunset shot. Looks absolutely cracker. Stoked with how the car's going so far. Cross fingers, touch wood. Let's keep on charging and get to Sydney, eh? Mate, they reckon TDs are meant to be a kettle. I don't know what the go is. Mine mustn't be working properly. Because no matter how hard I flog this thing, I cannot get the water temperature over 75 degrees. Can someone tell me what's wrong with my kettle? Morning, we are back on the road. We made it to Sydney last night at about midnight. Got up this morning, I think it's about 10 AM and, oh, what's the time? 9 AM. I think it's about 9 AM and we are back on the road. Now, this is the stretch of road I'm worried about for police. Now, there's going to be a few highway patrol officers along this drive from Sydney to Coffs Harbour, so no plates on the GQ, no plates on the trailer. We've got permits for both of them, obviously, just like one-way unregistered vehicle permits. But I can guarantee we're going to get pulled over, so let's see how many times we get pulled over today. Now, there's a couple of things on the GQ that might attract the attention of a yellow sticker, but hopefully not. Touch wood. But yeah, absolutely stoked with how the cars are going. The GQ is absolutely killing it. Not having any dramas at all with that. Let's keep going and yeah, hopefully we can get home in a reasonable time today. Let's go. Home sweet home, 20 hours of driving later and we made it. What a journey. Have a go at the rigs. Look at the sag on the arse end of her. Mate, absolutely zero dramas with the cars. Didn't get pulled over by the cops. Mate, you got to be happy with that. Here he is. Hey buddy. Hello. How's it go?
Good.
How's the big GQ?
Good. Loves it.
Loves it?
Yeah.
So there you have it. We made it home. 20-hour drive with absolutely nothing going wrong, which is just outstanding. Very rarely happens.
Especially.
With us especially. So we're absolutely stoked with that. The car, it's actually sitting behind us. You probably noticed it in the background. I have been working on it behind the scenes. It's we'll give you a look at it in a second. We'll let you know what's going on with that. But yeah, we have been back in Coffs Harbour for a couple of months now. Chanel's back at work working at a dentist. Well, I've been just doing freelance work behind the scenes for some other YouTubers, field days. Been over to New Zealand filming a bunch of cool shit. So go and check him out if you haven't seen his channel. But I really want to get back into filming more content for you guys because I've been absolutely slack. I'm trying to build up some funds so we can finish this GQ patrol. In fact, let's go and show you the GQ, where I'm at with it. All right, so I've been working hard behind the scenes to try and build up some funds so we can finish this GQ patrol, and that is because I'm giving it away to one of my subscribers. There's going to be a QR code up on the screen if you do want to help out, purchase a package, and you will go in the draw to win this GQ patrol. The more people that scan the QR code and purchase a package, the quicker we can get this thing done. Come over and have a look. I've been busy sanding this thing down because we are putting a fresh new paint job on it. If you haven't seen this thing before, we've got Superior Superflex suspension, ROH wheels, we've got Hankook 33-inch tyres. We are, like I said, we've been sanding it down. We're going to be throwing some paint down on this thing very soon, and it's going to come up absolutely smicko. So if you want to help out with the GQ build and getting us back on our feet, scan the QR code on the top of the screen. That's been enough for today's video. Thanks heaps for watching. Please hit the subscribe button. We're nearly at 30k subscribers, so get us to 30k, bruh.